My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read all my writing, go to counterpropa.com. To support this YouTube channel, go to my Patreon link below in the description section. It's not enough that Democrats have allowed neoconservatives to reshape foreign policy on the left. So 500,000 people, by one estimate, have perished in Iraq. They want to go ahead and implement the same failed regime change in Syria and in Yemen that Hillary Clinton voted for in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's not enough that they justify President Obama and Hillary Clinton's intervention in Libya that caused tens of thousands of people to lose their lives. And in terms of the fraud news or fake news, it's not enough that Loretta Lynch speaking on a plane with Bill Clinton about golf, Brexit, and grandchildren, which is the original fraud news, fake news, that you couldn't find a person on the left, aside from me and Tim Black and some other people, who had the principles to call that out. Now they're saying that Trump is inciting violence with his WWE. I believe that this is Trump. The tweet that he's sending out is Trump tackling Vince McMahon. First of all, let me just say it. I grew up loving the WWF. Everybody from like Jake the Snake to Roddy Piper to everybody, Hulk Hogan, everybody. Macho Man Randy Savage, everybody that in the 80s a young kid like myself would grow up with, I enjoyed that. That's always amusing to me. You might have enjoyed it as well. But now they're saying that this is inciting violence, a WWE performance by Trump. God forbid he tackles Vince McMahon with now his face is blocked out with CNN on it. But President Obama, engaging in regime change in Libya, that shrugged shoulders, and Chelsea Clinton today retweeted Bill Kristol, who wrote with Robert Kagan, bombing Iraq isn't enough in 1998. Profanity alert. This is a profanity alert. The fucking hypocrites. The hypocrites. The neoconservatives have already infiltrated the Democratic Party. And now, listen to the Democrats. You're going to hear some Republicans, but they're all Democrats. This is political parties merging. The establishment of both political parties are actually one political party of their own. Here's ABC News. Trump's tweet on CNN is an incitement to violence.
Okay, Anna, I gotta start with you.
I'm a CNN commentator. I think that is unacceptable. I think that is the President of the United States taking things way too far. It is an incitement to violence.
What fucking asshole on the planet is going to look at that and try to tackle a CNN reporter? What crazed moron is going to look at Trump's tweet and say, aha, I can go ahead and engage in violence because Trump tackled Vince McMahon? What kind of insane... This is the thing, like, you know, a person shoots up a congressional baseball game and they say, oh, Bernie Sanders, he was a Bernie Sanders supporter. It must have been Bernie's call to end perpetual counterinsurgency wars that motivated this man to shoot. It must have been the only anti-war candidate in a field of Trump and Clinton, who are both pro-military intervention, Clinton far more than Trump, that incited that guy. So we'll continue. CNN.
He is going to get somebody killed in the media. Maybe that will stop him. I am disappointed beyond belief by the answer that the Homeland Security Advisor just gave.
he's going to get somebody killed in the media? This is actually ABC News. How does that even work? What kind of person, what kind of individual would watch the WWF and WWE and pro wrestling have been going on forever? They never incite, if anything, it's a catharsis to watch Jake the Snake with a snake coming out and, you know, biting people, or Randy Macho Man Savage or whatever, or Hulk Hogan or Roddy Piper or Junkyard Dog or anybody, Iron Sheik, or even watching MMA or boxing. For people, for men especially, that's a catharsis to go ahead and watch that. You're letting out steam by just watching that. What kind of individual would look at Trump and say, aha, now I can go ahead and find the CNN journalist and then tackle him? How many times have you heard Trump is a danger to Western civilization? That was actually I believe it was an Independent article or Telegraph article. Or no, maybe it was a Guardian opinion piece. How Trump is this danger to Western civilization. And meanwhile, the Washington Post, like clockwork, justifies every single war, every single military intervention, every single regime change. And the untold suffering, and the untold killing, and the people who perish. And the CNN contributors just shrug shoulders. And meanwhile, Oliver Darcy at CNN, oh, if you take this seriously, you know, if you don't take Trump's words or Trump's tackling seriously, it's like, dude, what world do you live in if you are basing Trump tackling somebody to the military interventions of Bush, Obama, or Trump? There's no anti-war movement because the Democratic Party has swallowed up any anti-war movement. That's why I would love Nina Turner, Tulsi Gabbard, and Chris Hedges to run. And Bernie of 2016 to run. Anyway, I'll just finish this up.
What a wuss. What a wuss. You could see that he is ceding his principles. You are the Homeland Security Advisor and you can't stand here and say the difference between right and wrong. That's what's part of the problem. He is surrounded by enablers that do nothing but shake their heads and nod their heads in agreement with everything that he says. They have got to stop. They have got to stand for democracy, for freedom of the press. This is just going way too far. The President of the United States is inciting violence against the free press. And America...
He was tackling Vince McMahon. What the fuck? How does that work?
We cannot stand for it.
I mean, it is just kind of theater of the absurd, right? I don't think any of us would have thought that this is something that the president, any president, would do. But in particular, it just comes, as you mentioned, right after the shooting of Steve Scalise. Republicans and Democrats said it's time to take the red.
The shooting that Bernie influenced. What kind of bullshit is this? First, you blame the shooting of Scalise on Bernie. Then you go ahead and the establishment says, well, Trump tackled Vince McMahon, so oh my God, he's going to tackle a CNN reporter. Oh my God. What kind of insane people are running the airwaves and influencing hundreds of millions of Americans? Have you lived a moment of life? Have you ever seen actual violence in your life? ABC News panelists? This is not how violence is incited. There are other factors. It's not the WWE.
Rhetoric down a notch, and this clearly does not do that.
And everyone that we spoke to on the Hill right after that incident said the president was actually quite good on that stage. He was reassuring. He called for the country to get together. He gave a really good speech and visited the hospital to see Steve Scalise. And now this. Listen, I know a lot of people who work for CNN who have to be scared. And
Shut the fuck up. I was on CNN 3 times. Good people. The producers who called me on, very nice people. I had a great time. CNN International, CNN New Day. I don't think anyone at CNN is frightened. You fucking fraud news. This is ABC News. They should call ABC News fraud news also. No one is scared. No one is frightened. But the entire planet is frightened of our foreign policy, you fucking neocon Democrats. We destroy the planet and shrug our shoulders, but if Trump tackles Vince McMahon, oh my God, oh my God. The neocons have taken over the Democratic Party. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much for listening. And Chelsea Clinton just retweeted Bill fucking Kristol today. If that doesn't make any sense, if that has no meaning to you, then you're obviously not going to understand anything I said. Thank you so much for listening. Give me your thoughts below.